Hello and welcome to a brand new preview episode for Black and Black Cinema. I'm your host, Jay. I'm here with my co-host, Micah.
Hey.
All right, guys, we are back. Just two of us again this week, but we are here for a preview episode for episode 263, Bad Boys for Life. We have done the previous Bad Boys movies, episode 49 and 50, I believe. But seeing as the new Bad Boys movie is coming out very soon, we realized we hadn't done Bad Boys 3. So we will be doing that one next week. Let me read the log line here for it. Miami detectives Mike Lowry and Marcus Burnett must face off against a mother and son pair of drug lords who wreak havoc on their city. This is from the 2020 film, obviously. So Will Smith and Martin Lawrence are back once again, reprising their, I would say, like pretty iconic roles, right? Like, I can't imagine them ever rebooting this with two other actors.
I mean, I can, but it would be more of like a spinoff, right? Like,
yeah,
it would be. It wouldn't be Mike Lowry, right? Like it would be, his son.
His son and his son and Reggie.
Yeah, there you go.
That would be fucking weird. So yeah, all right, that's fine. Obviously, we have all seen this movie. The second it came out. So you could go back and check out episodes 49 and 50 to hear the other Bad Boys episodes that we did. Those were a lot of fun, if I recall. It's been a long time. But we will get into Bad Boys for Life next week. All right. The random topics this week are two, and they do share a similar sort of through line. So the first one we're going to talk about is what's happening in the WNBA and how our everybody's favorite sports commentator is back in the news again, Stephen A. Smith. So, Micah, take it away.
So a couple of days ago, the First Take, which, as much as Stephen A. Smith gets on my nerves, I do enjoy First Take because there's just enough of him there that, and when he's talking about stuff that he knows about, I can tolerate him. Right. Sure. I can't tolerate him when he's talking about like politics and shit because like I don't know about it. He don't know about it. It's just two dummies that don't know about something listening to each other. That's the problem with America right now. Okay. Fair enough. But I do listen to First Take. And there's a segment that went viral when they're talking about Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark is the new hotness, right? The hot young rookie out of Iowa, now plays for the Indiana Fever. And, when she came into the league, she came in with a lot of hype, right? Like on some, like, I want to be like Mike hype, sure. Right? But she hasn't really, the Fever aren't really doing well. I think they're like the second worst team in the league. Only beating out the Mystics in terms of record. Yes. And some people are recently, what is this woman's name? Kennedy something, who plays for the Chicago Sky. She did a dirty play on her, right? And it was a dirty play. Like no mistake about it. She came up, there was no basketball going on at the moment. She came up, she fucking bam, shoulder checked her, right? Knocked her down for no fucking reason, right? Well, not for no reason. Apparently, Caitlin elbowed this woman, but like nobody's talking about that shit, right?
They only look in sports. They only see the retaliation. Like that's just kind of
right. Exactly. Unfortunately. Exactly. And so I'm willing to give Kennedy the benefit of the doubt. She's like, I ain't gonna take this shit from no fucking rookie. Wow, right? Fucking shoulder checked her. She just did it at the wrong time, right? And they started talking about this, about the WNBA. And there's this whole other conversation regarding Caitlin Clark, which is this is a stupid conversation, right? But because Caitlin Clark is so famous and she's bringing more eyes to the product that's been around for almost 30 years, by the way. The WNBA has been around for almost 30 years.
Wow,
exactly.
That is news to me. Like, it feels like it's been like 15 years. Like, I'm not trying to be a dick about it, but like,
I think it's like 25, 26, something like that.
I mean, look,
right?
I'm not trying to be an asshole, but like, lower the rim so they can dunk. For the fucking love of God, it would bring so much more interest to it, dude. I know they don't want to. I get it, but like, I just want to see them dunk. Nobody wants to see people doing layups all day. I'm just saying.
WNBA was founded in 1996.
Jesus Christ. It was 6
yeah, we're fucking old, man. So she's bringing all these eyes to the product, right? And all
That's
of
a
a
good
sudden,
thing.
like, everybody, that is a good thing. That's a very good thing. But people are like, some people are like, maybe y'all should take it easy on her because she's bringing all these, new eyes to the product, right? And no, that's not it, right? And on First Take, they weren't talking specifically about that. I believe Stephen A. Smith's point was, hey, look, I'm sure there's a lot of jealousy in the league, especially, because this girl is like getting all this attention and the league has been around for damn near 30 years. And now people are starting to maintain. And I think his argument is that the players should compete, but like, don't like rough her up too much, right? Like, just take it easy on the rookie, right? And look, I'm putting words in his mouth. I don't know what the fuck his argument is, because he talks a lot and says very little. But
that is true.
but he's like, look, she is the reason that all of these that she is the reason why the WNBA is on and popping right now. And Monica McNutt, who is an analyst, a basketball analyst, she's like, yeah, but WNBA has been around for a while. If the media were to talk about the WNBA a little more, maybe it would be around, it would be more popular than it is now that this one person has come in, right?
That's a fair argument.
And that is a fair argument, in my opinion. And then Stephen A. Smith goes on to say, well, who talks about the WNBA and who talks about women in sports more than our show, First Take, right? And Monica McNutt says, well, respectfully, with your platform, which is huge, by the way, like, this guy's the de facto face of ESPN. She says, you could have been doing this 3 years ago if you wanted to. And I mean, it's
way more than, look, it's been around almost 30 years, way more than 3 years ago. But yeah.
Mm-hmm. Right. It stopped him in his tracks, right?
Yeah,
he couldn't believe it. He was like, wow. Right. Like it stopped him in his tracks. And then he went on his podcast and tried to clear his things up. Not clear things up in an apologetic way, but like, how somebody, it's like the George Costanza thing, right? Like, the jerk store called, they're running out of you, right?
Yeah, that's,
damn it, why didn't I say that?
Yeah, you're trying to get your shit off now that you had time to think about it. Look, we all do it.
Right. We all do it, right? But I'm not even mad at him. He got a platform. He wanna kind of correct the record or whatever. Fine. I don't appreciate him intimating that, like, he's the reason people know Monica McNutt's name.
Yeah, that's not a good look, yo. That's not a good look.
He kind of did that shit, and then he kind of walked that back. He kind of walked that back on First Take this morning, as of us recording this episode.
All right, look. Everybody makes mistakes, but yeah, you can't do that, yo. Like, you can't understand what that looks like as a black man, to basically just dismiss her entire work and be like, you're welcome. Like, don't do that. Like, don't do that.
And he didn't single her out, right? Like, he says, I did this for this person. I did this for them. I did this for them. Like, I fight for you. I fight for these people. I do this. I do this for all of you, right? which,
so selfless.
that's
He's so selfless.
right. Like, you know, Denzel Washington does that shit, but he don't fucking broadcast it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, there's a lot of people that do stuff like that, but they don't feel the need to broadcast it. He's the type of person that feels the need to broadcast it. But, fine, whatever. He's helping.
To quote another massive narcissist megalomaniac, I'm the humblest person anyone has ever known. Most humble person here. Oh, okay, cool. Thanks, Donald. Yeah, look, the through line between this story and the next story is why are we changing like a level of consistency, right? For one person or for one group, right? Just be consistent across like how you take on these people, right? And in this Stephen A. Smith sort of WNBA story, the idea of, well, is it fair that we're rough on this rookie? Yeah, that's what happens in sports. Ask any rookie in the NFL, they beat the shit out of those guys, right? Like, it happens in the NBA. It's gonna happen in the WNBA.
It happens. It has happened. It has happened in the WNBA, right? Like it is a. And look, I'm not trying to say that this dude is saying what Charles Barkley said. Charles Barkley was like, "Hey man, y'all need to go easy on that girl, man. All right, she got y'all chartered flights because this year is the first year that they've ever had chartered flights to fly from city to city. They always had to fly commercial. They've been around for 30 years. That's wild.
Crazy. WNBA don't make no kind of money. That's fucking up.
It really does.
7 foot tall women on a fucking Spirit airline. Get out of here. That is disrespectful. Get those women a chartered flight. Come on.
Look, I'm not saying Stephen A. Smith. Look, I'm gonna be fair to the guy. I'm not saying he's saying that at all, right? Like there are other people who are saying, y'all need to ease up on her. And he's not saying that, right? There's other people who are like, hey, where were her teammates, right? Like, y'all are supposed to come and defend this girl. But there are a couple people, Charles Barkley was one example, and then legions upon legions of black dudes.
I was going to say, okay, because this is an angle here, right? Like, there's a consistency level here that's bothersome.
Yeah, of black dudes who are like, he's right. Like, you should maybe take it easy on her because she's the only reason that people are watching the WNBA right now, right? I guess Angel Reese ain't shit, right? Like she's Caitlin Clark's rival, right? Like those two are like Ken and Ryu, right? Like, right. and it's just a weird look, yo. Like all these dudes, black dudes,
I don't like
coming to defend this poor woman. And look, this poor woman does not need defending, nor does she want it, right? Like she's a shit talker, right? She's a competitor. She's a baller, right? She don't want that shit. She don't want nobody handing her shit.
And by the way, it makes her life harder when you're out there defending her. Yo, just look, beat them on the court, earn their respect on the court. That's how it all works.
Right.
Look, running to defend. All of them running to defend this white woman is bizarre to me, because I feel like if it was a young black woman in the same position, like she's the go-getter and she's the one getting the chartered flights and all this other shit, and she's like the big name, and she was getting a little roughed up in the WNBA, I feel like the response would be, and I can't say for sure, this is just my opinion. I feel like the response would be like, the fuck you complaining about? That's the game, right? Like you're supposed to be tougher, but like, oh no, this is a white woman. Like we need to protect her. I mean, why though? Why?
It's the whole like black women are strong and
right.
You are right. You are, but black women are allowed to be vulnerable too, and I don't think they know that. Well, right. They're human, man. Like they're allowed to be vulnerable. They're allowed to be protected, but they don't need to be protected. Right. And people don't get that through their head. Right. It's either black women are incredibly strong and nothing phases them because they are the strongest, right? And or it's they aren't allowed to work because I'm the man. Like, what the fuck?
Like, spoiler alert for all you single fucking guys who've never been, still to this day don't know where the clitoris is. You don't have to treat women like that. They're people. Like, they're just human beings, right, and you just be respectful to them and just be like, hey, are you capable of doing this thing? Oh, look, this 6-foot white woman is capable of shooting a basketball. She'll be fine. She's playing on a professional level. I don't need to tell anybody on a professional level how to play the sport at all. I would lose a game of basketball to every single woman in the WNBA by whatever amount of points that we're playing to 0. Okay, they're fine. They're fine. Right. They're big women. They're gonna be all right. Right? They don't need big niggas like Shannon Sharp to be like, no, this is too much. Or big niggas like Charles Barkley. Y'all fine. She gonna be all right. They knocking her teeth out on the court or some shit? No, they're throwing a couple of elbows. Whatever, that's the sport. That's the sport. They did that shit to you, Charles Barkley, when you went into the NBA and you beat them by playing the game. And you earn their respect by playing the game. Shannon Sharp, I'm sure the NFL is ruthless towards...
The NFL in a dog pile. Like, they are punching and gouging because they trying to grab that fucking ball, yo.
Yeah, no, they're brutal. So you're not going to tell me Shannon Sharp didn't deal with a bunch of shit as a rookie. And you know what? You earn the respect of those people who've already been there, the vets, by beating them on the field, right? Like, that's how you earn their respect, and not by going to the media and bitching and complaining about it, right? So she doesn't need you, Stephen A. Smith. Also, like, don't try to push down an opinion of another sports commentator, especially a woman, like, in that regard. Like, it's weird. It's just weird. Like, don't do that.
It's weird, especially because, like, he's got a history of it. He used to do a show with a guy named Max Kellerman. And Max Kellerman, you know, he would push back, right? He would push back to the point where Chad Ochocinco once said that Max Kellerman is blacker than you.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I remember that.
Boy, he didn't like that shit. Which, by the way, don't do that. Don't do that. Like, Chad Ochocinco was being a dick. Don't do that shit.
Like, yeah, just because you don't like Stephen A. Smith, that doesn't mean that he's not black. Don't like.
Right. Don't fucking do that.
That's feeding into white people's bullshit. Like, I don't like that. Like, oh, you didn't do something, so you're not black. Don't do that. Like, black is not what you're trying to be. Black is what you are. Like. Look, don't do the no true Scotsman argument. You could just be like, this is a shitty example of a black person. That's a better argument. Like, Clarence Thomas is black. He's just a really shitty version of a black person. I think that has way more weight. Don't take his blackness away. Just show that we are not a monolith. Some of us are dicks, right? So that is a much better argument to make. All right, so that story. So again, why are we treating people differently than, like, we don't do that for sports. Like, we know rookies get roughed up. They earn their respect on the court or on the field. That is just the thing. We don't need to rush to save this white woman, especially. That, again, seems very weird. Black dudes involved. I need y'all to calm the fuck down. You're looking kind of strange, all right? That white girl gonna be all right. She's 6 feet tall. Nigga, she's taller than me. She gonna be fine. I don't feel any sympathy for anybody who's 6 feet tall. Fuck that. They'll be fine. Fuck those people.
She got a $27 million endorsement deal.
Oh, she would be just fine. Get out of here.
And she's on the second worst team of the league. I think she'll be fine.
Yeah, knock it off. 6 foot, a 6-footer woman, 6-footer with a $27 million contract. Who are y'all defending? Defend me. I'm 5'9" and I'm broke. Like, the fuck? Get out of here. So the through line of this, like, why are we acting different type of shit? Sam Forster, this would-be writer, this Canadian white writer, decided he wrote a book. He wrote a book called Seven Shoulders, Taxonomizing Racism in Modern America, right? And the day before the book came out, again, this is a white Canadian guy. The day before the book came out, this dude decided that he was going to go on Twitter and let people know that he dressed or he disguised himself as a black person and went to America and just to see what it'd be like to be a black person and understand racism. And then he went back to Canada and wrote this book. Now, he didn't put the book out before revealing this. He revealed it, again, the day before. So, of course, people were like, oh, word? Cool. Go fuck yourself. I'm not buying your book because you did blackface. Or one of those probably like really authentic looking masks, right? Like if somebody puts it on, you quite literally can't tell.
Yeah.
I think that this is one of the most ridiculous things I've ever heard. It is 2024. You can't just listen to black people tell you what racism is like. You gotta fake experience it yourself. That's the only way to know. Why?
I'm looking at so he X'd a response. Is that it? Is that the verb now? Xing instead of tweeting?
I don't know. I don't use that app. That's run by a psychopath.
I Googled this guy and he X'd some clarification. Some people have suggested that my intention in writing Seven Shoulders was to, quote, understand what it's like to be someone of a different race. That's not true. I wasn't trying to understand the experience of being a different race. I was demonstrating how a person's perceived race may result in differential treatment. Again, you could just ask people of a different race. Likewise, if I conducted a social experiment that involved applying to jobs with a stack of male resumes and a stack of female resumes to expose sexism in the industry and hiring practices, I would not claim to fully understand what it's like to be a woman for the entire lifetime. That would be absurd. Yeah, so is dressing up in black. You haven't experienced a lifetime of blackness when you dressed up as being black.
Exactly, which goes to the whole point. We don't treat any other group like this, but suddenly you need to dress up as a black person to understand it. He's right. You don't understand it as a woman, but you would never like, hey, you seen the movie Tootsie? I'm going to dress as a woman to find out what it's like. You wouldn't do that because it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. Centering yourself as a white person in a conversation about racism towards black people is the most white thing I have ever heard. Hey guys, don't listen to all these black people. Oh, don't listen to the 14% of the American population that goes through this shit. Listen to me. I'm a white guy from Canada. What? You're two deviations away from the people who are actually experiencing it, right? White people in America have a better understanding of race relations than you do. Like, of American race relations?
Yeah, of American race relations, yeah. I just, he goes on and on and on and on. I'm not reading all of this.
Please buy my book.
Yeah, he says that this book is not formal, heavily edited, and not a formal, heavily edited doctoral thesis. It's gonzo. It's stylized. It's at times intentionally melodramatic. This sort of writing isn't for everyone. The book's brash marketing was meant to attract attention. For those who read the book, okay, all right. And then he goes and says that, he's not a malicious person.
You don't have to be.
I don't know, man.
But
you don't have to be to do something dumb, right?
Yeah,
like
it's just stupid.
That's what a manslaughter charge is, right? Like, you didn't mean to kill him, but you did it, right? Like So you're gonna take these criticisms, you're gonna take these jokes, you're gonna take these L's, right? Like, you might not be racist in your heart, but you you put on a racist mask, you cosplayed racism, nigga.
Like, I mean, what's wild is this idea. Like, so I had done a quick video about this on TikTok, on our TikTok about this, and there was a dude on there, and he was like, "Well, empathy often comes from people living or experiencing that pain themselves. And I was like, I fundamentally disagree with that. Empathy comes from listening and believing people. I don't have to. I don't have to
dress up as a woman
to understand sexism.
Right.
I'm not going to leave this recording, put on a yarmulke, walk around and be like, this is what anti-Semitism is like. I get it now. I'm not going to go pray to Mecca 6 times a day in public and people are like, and it's like, now I know what it's like to be Muslim. I don't do that. Why? Because you're just dressing up. Like you're just dressing up as someone. Putting on a costume does not mean you have an authentic experience of what it is like to be black, Jewish, Muslim, a woman, name the group, right?
Homeless. Remember Tyra Banks did that? Tyra Banks pretended to be homeless. This was a long time
I don't
ago.
even remember that. And I am not a Tyra Banks fan at all.
I used to be a big Tyra Banks fan because I was a teenager with a penis.
Yeah.
But
we've all seen that poster. Like we've all seen that poster.
But I remember she did that one time. She went around and she played dress up as a homeless person to experience what homelessness was like, right? And she sat in some Hooverville for a day with a camera trained on her, right?
Right.
And
I really knew what it was like, guys. It's really hard.
And showed clips on her talk show. Tyra Banks used to have a talk show, guys. Yeah. And it's the same thing. And even back then, I was like, what the this doesn't make any sense. Like there's no way you could possibly know what it is like. But yeah, like you said, you don't have to experience something to be empathetic to it. Well, maybe you do if you're a Republican.
That's exactly what I said. That's what I said in my video. I was like, that's how Republicans operate. Like, because they think through their amygdala and they don't use the rest of their fucking brains. Yeah.
Like but any normal, well-adjusted person can listen to something or see something. It's like dudes who the first thing they say when they see some bad shit happening to a woman is the first thing they say is, oh, man, I got daughters, man. Like, I get it, but that shouldn't be the reason why you feel sorry for this woman, right? For some fucked up shit happening to a woman because you got a daughter. Because that implies that if you did not have said daughter, you'd be A-okay with it. So it makes you sound really, really stupid.
Yeah.
Please don't do that.
Yeah, and I have a daughter, and I would never say that. That's maddening to me. Man, I got a daughter, so now I get sexism. No, I got it before. I got it before because I'm married to a woman, and I have a mom and aunts and a grandma. I've known women my whole ass life. What the fuck? Today you figured it out? That's weird. So that's just obnoxious and in a thing I cannot abide. I cannot abide people thinking like that. It's insane. Just keep that to yourselves. But this very idea of not being able to believe black people and just listen to the account of black people or whatever group, but very specifically black people in this instant, tells me that your book is not worth reading because you fundamentally don't understand that you are putting yourself at the center of black people's strife. Black people's strife couldn't possibly be explained by black people enough. I got to deal with it so then I can tell other white people so they believe me. Spoiler alert. If you have to dress up as a black person to go tell white people what racism is like and they just now get it in 2024, those people are idiots. And if you feel like you have to explain racism to white people in the modern day with television and HD home videos of people being assaulted and all this shit, Rodney King, all of these things that we've seen, you still need to convince white people that racism exists? Who are these white people? Do they live in a cave? If they didn't believe you before your book, what makes you think your book is going to change anything? Well, it's for the Canadian audience. I'm sorry. Is there a dome there made of fucking black material that they can't get information from the outside? Dude, it is, to me, it makes no sense. And this is very similar to that very is one of my favorite moments, like that Ta-Nehisi Coates talk where there's like a white person like, well, what is your thoughts about the fact that like rap music has the N word, and like I like the music, but I want to sing along, but I can't with my friends. And he basically was like, white people call other white people rednecks. Women call each other bitches. We're not allowed to join into that, right? Why do you hold a different thing for black people? Why do you hold a different standard for black people? Why are black? We see it in our comments, right? The last time we did a Stephen A. Smith story. Why do you guys say nigga all the time? Because we want to say it. Because we want to say it. And you don't hold the same argument to other groups. There was a Supreme Court case, and the guys won, by the way. There was an Asian Asian rock group that called themselves the Slants. It's a take on the derogatory name, right? I mean, it's kind of funny, right? And they weren't allowed to use the name. And they fought for their right to be like, we should get to use the name. The fuck? Why not? It's a freedom of speech issue. And you know what? They won. So, right, they should. But it's their right. Every community has their thing that they call each other. It is a normal human thing. But we hold black people to these weirdo standards. If you don't like the word, then don't use the word. We just don't use it. It's fine. I'm not forcing you to use it. But that doesn't mean other outside groups get to use it. So this idea, going back to this story, why do you hold a different standard for black people's pain that white people are the only ones who can give the information out to other white people? No, they just don't want to listen to it. I can empathize with people in I've got Jewish friends, right? I can empathize with them losing family members and things like that during October 7th. I can 100% say, yeah, man, that's really fucked up. I can empathize. It's a horrible story. Everything else. I can also empathize with Muslims who are getting fucking massacred, or Palestinians who are getting massacred in Gaza. I can also empathize that. I don't have to go there and put on garb. I'm 44 fucking years old. I'm not a child. Listen, and they're gonna go, that's just fucked up. And if you can't do that, there's something wrong with you. It's not something wrong with them or the experience. There's something wrong with you. Human empathy is a basic mechanism. And if you have to put on a costume to experience that, that's a real hole in your fucking emotional intelligence, my man.
Yeah, it says more about you, bro. It says way more about you. You are the meme of the guy pointing at himself in the mirror. How can I make this about? You're gonna make this about you. Yeah. You. Like, what the fuck?
Look, and I'll use this as a closing statement. This is what I said to the guy on TikTok. I don't just if I dress up as a pirate for Halloween, it doesn't mean I understand what it's like to be Jack Sparrow in fucking Pirates of the Caribbean. You don't have any context. It's just a costume, right? So again, stop changing the standard when it comes to athletes, or very specifically black athletes who would be rookies and being treated roughly, and you just be like, just get over it. But suddenly it's different because it's a white woman, which is, again, says a lot about you in a very specific way. I know media literacy is at an all-time low, but you got to be able to pick that one up. I think most people can understand. And with the Sam Forster thing, why are you changing the standard by which you empathize with others? Stop centering yourself stop centering yourself in other people's strife. It's a really shitty thing, and it's super fucking white. It's a super white thing to do. And look, maybe write a book about that. I've got a hole in my emotional intelligence, and I need to fix it. The book by Sam Forster. That's what the next book should be.
And look, like we said earlier, don't do that. Instead, right? Because I know people tend to tell people what not to do without giving solutions. Instead, listen to people.
That's it.
All you gotta do is talk to people. I guarantee you.
Genuinely believe them, by the way.
Yeah, and that's it. Just try to come in with the most open mind you can and talk to people. You talk to somebody, I guarantee you they will start. You ask somebody a question about themselves, I guarantee you they will start talking.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
So, you know, just talk to people. Just talk to people. I feel like there's a certain type of person that always like asks questions about the other. I think the blue team asks a lot of questions of the red team, like because like the blue team wants to know how the red team thinks, but the red team doesn't give a fuck about the blue team.
That's absolutely accurate. No, I don't really give a fuck. Like, you guys want to have some information? We'll fill it in. We'll fill it in. Don't worry.
No.
We think we got it. Like, no, but like, I'm here with all this data. We'll get our own data.
I'm not a Star Trek fan. Get out of here.
Yeah. Like, we don't need you. Like, but this book's about me. Again, sir, we don't need you. Like, all right. Yeah, so it's just keep a standard. If you got a standard, keep a standard. That matters. And stop treating black people very specifically outside of that standard. I cannot fucking stand it. I just cannot stand it. And if you say, hey, that standard sucks, then that's fine. Then you create your own standard and make sure you hold everybody to it. But spoiler alert, you never do. You never do. So, all right, that is it. We will be back next week for Bad Boys for Life. That should have been the fourth movie title, but here we are. So you can stream that like everywhere. So
yeah, I think it's available for rent. Last time I checked, it was available for rent for $6.
There you go.
It's worth the $6. It's a fun movie.
If nothing else, it's worth the $6. What a glowing review. All right, so we'll be back with episode 263, Bad Boys for Life, next week. Later, guys.
See ya.
You're watching the Black on Black Cinema YouTube channel. Make sure you check out our full reviews of black movies, past and present. And every other week, we do a preview episode where we talk about a random topic that affects the black community.